Blessings, family. Blessings. Welcome to today's episode of Wednesdays with Pastor K. I'm so excited to be your host today, and I believe that you and I are going to have an awesome time. Please indicate in the comments if you can hear me and if you can see me. Then we can proceed. I just want to check if my mic is working very well because I've put in the mic today. So I want to make sure that you can hear me and if you can see me. Then we can have an awesome time. Quickly let me know in the comments. And welcome to everyone. It's so good to have you on today's episode. And I believe that we're going to have an awesome time. I see. Oh, awesome, awesome. Tabo says he can hear me. Patucheza says he can hear me. Just want to quickly welcome people that are watching. I see we've got Tabo Maimani watching on Facebook. Welcome, son. Good to see you. We have Katleho Musaka watching on YouTube. Welcome, daughter. Good to see you. And we have Lirato watching on Facebook. Welcome, Lirato. Patuchezo watching on Facebook. Welcome, son. Good to see you. And we have Khomoto KG watching on Facebook as well. Welcome, Khomoto. So great to have you guys with me today. And we have, let's see what else do we have here. Awesome. So good to have you guys on today's show. And I believe that we're going to have an awesome time. We've got the woman of God, who Mfundis Nomalanga, watching. Welcome, woman of God. Good to see you. So excited to have you on today's episode. Welcome. And we have Matibel watching on YouTube. Welcome, my daughter. Good to see you. And for those who are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so that every time we load a video there, you are able to catch it and you know what's going on, right? So it will keep you up to date. So make sure you subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And for those who often watch on YouTube, just know that my handle on Facebook is Khoaripe, and we can have an awesome time there as well. But I'm glad that you've both tuned in. I welcome you all from YouTube, and I welcome you all on Facebook. And I believe that today it's going to be an interesting topic. The last time you and I met online was about 3 weeks ago, because of unforeseen circumstances, that get in our way. The Bible says many are the plans in a man's heart, but only the will of God shall prevail. At times we plan and plan and plan. I remember last week we had planned to discuss the topic that we are going to discuss today. But you know what? Only the will of God will prevail. Something came up very urgent, an emergency in the family. It needed our attention, and I could not be online with you. But I'm glad that today God made a way that we catch up, you and I. It is for the benefit of you and I that we discuss on this subject today. It is very important and it is very paramount for each and every one of us. We're going to be talking about a powerful subject, on signs to know when to let go in a relationship, the signs you need to look for in order for you to know when to let go of a relationship. So I believe you're going to enjoy it. Each and every one of us, get an opportunity to be in relationships. Human beings are relational, and that's how God has created us, so that we may be relational as well. Most of the time, you and I will find ourselves in relationships. Some of us will find ourselves in marriages, and some of us will find us in friendships as well. There are different kinds of relationships, but let me say rather, human beings are relational. That's how God has created us. And if we are relational at times, we'll get to a point where we no longer see eye to eye with whoever we are in a relationship with. It can be a friend, it can be a love partner, or it can be a destiny relationship. But today we're going to learn, the facts about relationships and the signs to look for when it's time to let go of a relationship. So I believe we're going to have an awesome time. And welcome also to Kanyisile Meyi. Good to see you, my daughter. And we have Tandega Palesa Matsimela watching. Good evening, daughter. Good to see you. I believe that we will have a great time. Sizo, good to see you. Zolega Koza, so excited to see you as well. Now, I want to start with the facts about relationships. facts about relationships. Relationships are generally challenging. That's what we need to know. They are generally challenging because it's not one mind in the relationship. It's normally two minds, or some people have corporate relationships, a group of friends, a circle of friends. But you need to understand that relationships generally, they are challenging, and one may hold on to the hope that a tough season in a relationship will come to pass. But you may discover that there are relationships that don't get better, and tough seasons will remain with you. And also at times fear holds us back from making that final decision to let go. Fear may hold us back from making that decision to finally let go. There are certain relationships that are not working for us, and you know that this relationship is not working, it's not bearing fruit, it's not taking you anywhere, but you are remaining there for different kinds of reasons. There are reasons that you might be remaining there for the fear of losing that person, or for the fear of what people might say, for the fear of saying, what if I make a mistake by leaving this particular person or by ending this friendship? But at times it's because of fear, and this fear that holds us back from making that final decision to let go. And today we're going to be talking about different kinds of relationships. Number one, we're going to be talking about relationship with a partner, which is a love relationship, an intimate kind of relationship. Number two, we're going to be talking about a relationship with a friend, a relationship with a friend. And lastly, we're going to talk about destiny relationships. So we're going to start with this kind of a relationship, which is a relationship with a partner. Relationship with a partner, it can be someone that you are in love with, someone you are intimate with, but you no longer see eye to eye, and you don't know, and you're not sure if you should make this move or take this move, because you feel like, you're stuck in one place, and you really, feel that this thing is no longer working for you. Understand this about relationships. Staying in a relationship you don't want to be anymore has lasting consequences. I'll say that again. Staying in a relationship you no longer want in your life will have lasting consequences. We know of gender-based violence. There are people who kill one another because of such kind of things. You know very well that you are no longer into this person, and this person is no longer into you, or maybe because of their past sin, and you are unable to forgive them because of this sin, and you are holding on to this particular person because you feel that, what will people say? It will mess up my reputation. I will have that tag on my life that says divorcee, or that says, the ex boyfriend, the ex girlfriend, the ex husband, the ex wife. We are shying away from ending up with those titles. But at the end of the day, this particular relationship that you are holding on to, you know very well that there's no longer a relationship there. It's not good for you. It's not good for anybody close to you. It's not good for even God, because now it does not serve God's purpose. Relationships are all about happiness. Relationships are all about advancement. Relationships are about taking you to the next level. Relationships are about building empires. Relationships are about, growing together. But if those things never ever happen in our lives, I'm telling you, then we are not serving the purpose of relationships. That's why people kill one another. You find that tomorrow somebody has shot their partner and shot themselves. Why? Because this thing has been signaling to both the two people for a very long time, but none of them took the initiative to say, let's end this thing, let's move on. And also, what you need to understand is that it may impact your mental and emotional well-being. It may impact your emotional and what did I say again? Your emotional and mental well-being. It may impact that, meaning that you might find yourself not thinking straight in terms of your mental, and also emotionally, you might no longer be yourself, because you're stuck with this person. You see this person every day, but this is the last person you want to see, but you're stuck with this person because you're failing to make that decision. That will not be good for you. It will impact your mental and emotional well-being, and you will fail to operate at your full capacity because you are in a relationship you no longer feel you need to be in. And once a relationship is like that, now it's going to attract even infidelity. It's going to attract affairs, extramarital affairs, or extra relationship affairs, if you may put it that way. But you will find yourself being intimate with somebody else other than that particular person because you feel that by right you are no longer in a relationship, but to people out there, you are still in a relationship. When people look at you, they see people who are in a relationship. So you've got to deal with this thing, because I'm telling you, it will invite more trouble in your life more than anything else. So you've got to make sure that you deal with this thing. Otherwise, if you don't deal with the situation will deal with you. Let me repeat that. If you don't deal with the situation itself will deal with you. You've got to make a move. You've got to take that step and stop staying in something that does no longer serve you or does no longer serve your purpose, right? So we've got to be very clear on this one. And also, staying stuck in a bad relationship for too long can be damaging for both parties. It can be damaging for both parties. You don't want to end up getting to a place where now you start relating like a brother and a sister, yet you are partners. You don't want to get to the stage where you get to a stage where you relate to somebody as if now they are your brother or they are your sister, knowing very well that you were once intimate, you were once happily in love, you were once happily married, but now because you no longer see eye to eye, you've decided to tolerate one another. Now you're staying together for the sake of staying together, and for the sake of protecting your reputation, and for the sake of maintaining whatever it is that you need to maintain together as a couple. But you are no longer in a relationship, you are no longer in love, but you're staying together. You see, that's a very dangerous place to be in, because that will bring damaging consequences for both parties. Some people are afraid to end certain relationships because they are afraid to face life without that particular person or people. Some of us, you may find that you have been with that particular person for a very long time in such a way that you are afraid to face life without that particular person. But you are no longer in love with that particular person, and that relationship no longer serves you. But you are stuck in that bad relationship. It does not serve you. It does not serve the purpose of you being in a relationship anymore. It's high time you look at the signs I'm going to be giving you, and then you let it go. You let it go. It's either you're in a relationship or you're not. There is no medium. There is no middle. It's either you're hot or you're cold. I'll say that again. It's either you're hot or you're cold. Jesus puts it that way. He says, he says, I'd rather you were hot or cold, but because you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. Meaning that anything that is lukewarm does not serve God's purpose. And if you are lukewarm in your relationship or in your marriage, it will never serve the purpose of marriage or a relationship. Some people are afraid to end certain relationships because they're afraid to face life without that particular person. I'm repeating that point. And the fear of being alone, on our own and starting all over again may be crippling us. That's another issue. There are people who are afraid to start all over again. You are thinking now, if I let go of this person, I'm going to have to start all over again. And that's the thing. But is it worth it? It is worth you staying in that relationship simply because you don't want to start all over again. But you are in a relationship that does not serve the purpose. It does not serve you. It does not serve even your partner. But you're staying there for the wrong reasons, because you are afraid to start all over again. And that's what is crippling you. In that process, you will waste valuable time. If you're wasting time, you will waste valuable time, and you will perpetuate unhappiness. You will perpetuate unhappiness in that relationship. Why? Because the longer you prolong the unhappiness in a relationship, I'm telling you, it will not be good for your heart. It will not be good for your emotions. It will not be good for your mental capacity. It will never be good. It's either you are in this thing because you want to be in it, or you let it go. Or you let it go. We also have my daughter, Memam Lefa, watching. Good to see you, daughter. And we have also my son, Tabang Mlangi watching. Hey, good to see you, man. It's been a while. And we have my daughter, Pumzile, also watching. So good to have you guys. And the people I've just mentioned now are watching on Facebook. So yeah, we need to really know where we are in terms of relationships. Here's the quote, one of the greatest sayings concerning relationships. You can't pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first. That's a powerful quote. I want you to write it in the comments. You can't continue to pour from an empty cup. There's nothing to pour. It's empty. There is no love. Love no longer lives there. You no longer want to be with that person. You keep wanting to pour from that empty cup. It is empty. There's nothing to pour out. Take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Stop trying to pour out from an empty cup. It will not make any difference. In every relationship, there must be rewards on your investment. In every relationship, there must be rewards on your investment. In every relationship, we come with an investment. I invest into my wife, she invests back into me. If there is no return on investment, we are no longer in a relationship. We are no longer in marriage. We must have a mutual investment or mutual benefit. Yes, that's the right way to put it. We need a mutual benefit. There must be an element of reciprocation in the two of us. You know, the relationship must bring synergy, and we must both benefit from it. If one keeps on giving and the other keeps on taking, and they're no longer giving, it's no longer a healthy relationship. It's now tend to become a parasitic relationship. Somebody is not playing their part in that relationship, and therefore the relationship does no longer serve the purpose it was intended for in the beginning, when the whole thing started. If there's no return on investment, then it's time to leave. Can I repeat that? If there's no longer a return on your investment in the relationship, it is time to leave. A relationship must benefit both people in it. It must benefit both people in it. If you are happy, I must be happy. If you are giving, I must give. If I'm loving, you must love back. If I kiss you, you kiss me back. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it must be mutually beneficial. If it's no longer mutually beneficial, it's no longer the right kind of relationship. We are no longer in a relationship. Somebody's doing somebody a favor there, and it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And also, deciding to let go does not make you a failure. I want to repeat that one. Deciding to let go does not make you a failure. It does not make you a failure. Failure is an event, not a person. Failure is an event, not a person. Deciding to let go of a relationship does not make you a failure. It frees you out of the load. It frees you out of the heaviness. It frees you out of bondage. You know what? You are not failing by doing that. There are certain relationships that are not meant to be. I'll say that again. There are certain relationships that are not meant to be. Certain relationships were just a mistake. Certain relationships were just a mistake. There are people who thought they loved somebody, but they realized later it was not love. There's a difference between love and infatuation. There's a difference between love and infatuation. You've got to understand where you are with that partner. You've got to know where you are. So I'm saying again, deciding to let go does not make you a failure. And many people are holding on to relationships that no longer serve them because they are afraid to fail in life. They are more worried about their family members. They are more worried about their close friends. They are more worried about their pastor. They are more worried about people that are very close to them. And because of that, they are just going to suck it in and remain in this unholy union. They're going to remain in this abusive relationship. They're going to remain in this relationship that no longer serves them. They're going to remain in this toxic relationship. They're going to remain in this relationship that has lost its taste. It's no longer good. And we know it's no longer good. And the moment it's no longer good and does no longer serve a purpose, it's no longer a relationship. It's an arrangement. Let me put it that way. If we know that it does no longer serve the purpose, we are no longer seeing one another the way we used to see one another. Here's the thing. It's no longer a relationship. It's an arrangement. It's an arrangement. Listen here. We're going to stay together for the sake of the kids. We're going to stay together for the sake of our families. We're going to stay together for the sake of maintaining our reputation. It's no longer a relationship. It's now an arrangement. So why don't you free yourself from this arrangement that will not benefit you? So yeah, absolutely. I love that woman of God. Woman of God says, we are always concerned about people's approval, men of God. Yeah, that's why many people stay in these kind of relationships, or these kinds of marriages. And Katlejo on YouTube says, Dad, okay, I'm trying to get a hold of your comment there. In cases where there are young children involved, when is the right time to leave? I'm asking on behalf of a family member. You've got to understand this, Katejo. It's always, yes. I agree with you, Zolega. Zolega says, Abantu bazotini syndrome. Yeah, it hits everybody. It hits everybody. Abantu bazotini. And in that case, Katejo, you know what? Take it this way. It's normally good, to try and salvage or preserve a relationship for the sake of the upbringing of children, for the sake of the children. But in another, if I tend to the other side of the coin, I can say to you, so what if you lose your life and that particular person ends up killing you? It's going to be even worse. Those children are still going to lose you, but they're going to lose you to death because that person would have killed you because you chose to remain for the sake of children. Never be in a relationship for other people and not yourself. I'll repeat it. Never be in a relationship by yourself, with your own body, with your own life, but not for yourself. You are doing it for other people. Abanba Zotini, you are doing it for your children. What would my children say? No. You can only fight for a relationship if somebody has did something that looks like it's something that is unforgivable or something that is hard to forgive, but you still love that person. The only time you can preserve and fight for a relationship, it's if you are still in love with that particular person. That's the only reason you must preserve a relationship and fight for a relationship. But any other thing except of love, I'm telling you, it's going to be dangerous and it's going to kill you. It's going to be dangerous and it's not good for you. It's not good for you. Right? So I think I've answered you, Katlejo. So yeah, and I believe it will, it will answer or respond to that particular person the way they would want to hear it, because Sometimes we sacrifice our own lives for people that would lose us to that particular thing that we are trying to sacrifice our lives to. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but you might be trying to stay in a marriage for the sake of your children, for the sake of the children, but that thing does no longer serve you and you're no longer in love, and you've become like a friend to this person. You've become like a brother and a sister. And you find that you are, let's say, if you're staying together, you find that now for many, many years, you've been sleeping separately, you've been sleeping in different rooms, you've become brothers, you've become siblings, and it's no longer good. It's no longer good. That thing raises an alarm to anybody that visits your house. I'll say that again. That thing raises an alarm to anybody that visits your house. And you must remember, the moment we sleep in separate rooms, then you must know the devil has kicked in and the devil is reigning in that particular house. The devil is reigning in that particular house. Now I'm talking for the sake of people that are married, for the sake of the people that are married. You see, now yes, woman of God, and the woman of God is saying, oh, God bless you. It's liberating, and she also says, or for the sake of ministry. That's very dangerous, woman of God. That's very dangerous. I know a lot of servants of God are doing that. You know, they know that they no longer want to be with their spouse, but for the sake of preserving the ministry, they're going to stay in that relationship. And I'm telling you, it's very dangerous. It's very dangerous because the Bible teaches you and I, woman of God, that how do you expect to take care of the house of God if you cannot take care of your own house? There are people who are going to come to you, hypothetically speaking, as a man of God or as a woman of God. There are people who are going to come to you desiring to discuss or to have a marriage counseling with you, and knowing very well that your own marriage is not fit, your own marriage has lost taste, and you no longer sleeping in the same bedroom with your spouse. By right and spiritually, you don't qualify to sit and counsel those people. You don't qualify because you can't take care of your own marriage according to the spiritual terms. That's what the word says. It says, before you can try and take care of the house of the Lord, you must first take care of your house. Now, that issue needs to be addressed, and you need to find a solution to that. If there's no solution, we go separate ways. There are people who make it beyond that. There are people who make it beyond that. All you've got to do is to be honest with yourself. Because I'm telling you, if you don't deal with that thing, it's going to get to a stage where now people are going to be passing remarks in the church. Now, instead of preaching, you're passing the remarks to your spouse or to your estranged spouse. And also, when they are preaching, they also pass remarks onto you. Why? Because you are no longer in a relationship, and every time they start trying to encourage people to be in love, you start making funny comments. It's like, what do you know about that? What do you know about love? Why? Because there's no harmony in your own home. So there are dynamics to that, and I'm telling you, what you don't deal with grows. What you don't deal with grows. What you don't confront grows. What you don't address grows. Now, and if something keeps on growing, tomorrow that thing's going to become a monster, and you won't be able to try and contain that thing going forward, because the day that thing explodes, I'm telling you, it will mess up everything that you were trying to protect. It will mess up everything that you are trying to protect. So there are things that we need to deal with and not to prolong. And also, what we need to understand concerning relationships is that sometimes ending a relationship is not necessarily a bad thing. I'll say that again. Sometimes ending a relationship is not necessarily a bad thing. If that relationship is no longer good for you, it's no longer good for your health, it's no longer good for your reputation, it's no longer good for your life, it's no longer good for your mind, it's no longer good for your emotions, it's time to let it go. 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 It's time Listen to this. Understand that not every relationship is meant to be, and that's okay. Not every relationship is meant to be, and that's okay. You need to make peace with that. You need to make peace with that. There are people who are created for one another, but there are people who married for convenience. There are people who fell in love for convenience, or people who went into a relationship for convenience. If a relationship no longer serves you, it's time to let it go. It is time to let it go. The only reason you can be in a relationship or in marriage is if you love that person. There is no any other reason. It must be love. It must be love. It must be love. That is why you must never marry someone because somebody feels they are good for you. You must never do that. You must never do that. If someone is not good for you, that doesn't mean that they are not a good person. If someone is not good for you, it does not mean that they are not a good person. You may find that somebody may not be good for you. Why? Simply because they were a misfit. The moment they connect with a person they were created for, you'll find that the problems you had with that particular person, they will never have out there. And that is why, if you feel that, you know what, more than anything, this relationship is causing friction, then you are in a wrong relationship. You are in a wrong relationship. Let's talk number one about the relationship with a partner. The signs you need to recognize if it's time to let go. You must look for these signs. Understand this. These signs are not always obvious. They are not always obvious. They may linger in the background of your head. They are not always obvious because you are always in doubt. Should I do this? Shall I not do this? Shall I do this? Shall I not do this? So they are not obvious. Yeah. Mbali says, what about remarriage? Doesn't the scripture say that you can't leave your husband, your wife, and marry another while your husband or wife is still alive? It confuses me, Dad. Yeah. Well, look, it depends on why. Why, number one, you had to part ways. It depends on why you had to part ways. If there was adultery involved in that relationship, you are free to divorce. That's what Jesus said. You are free to divorce. But if you left your husband or your wife simply because you've got what we call, many people, they always cite it as irreconcilable differences. Bali, so you must really understand this. If you are married, you are a married couple, obviously you cannot just end this thing without going through counseling. You've got to go through counseling. You've got to go through counseling. But if you are in a relationship, you are not married, there's no need for you to waste time. If this thing does not serve you, you move on. You move on. But if you are married, you need counseling. You must go through counseling. And whatever person that will be leading that counseling, that will be coaching in that particular counseling, they will be able to determine if this thing is repairable or it's irreparable. Like I said earlier, many of us will cite what we call the irreconcilable differences. Now, it's not enough when you're married to say, I no longer love this person. It's not enough. It's not enough. You should have thought about that before making that move of getting married. You see? So it's a very big step. It's a very big step. And it's not enough for God as well to say, I no longer love this person, that's why. But if there's infidelity involved, you've got a reason to issue a red card to say, I can't stay here anymore. I'm moving on because this person keeps on cheating and we are married. In the case of adultery, Jesus says you're free to divorce. So I'm not sure if I've answered you, Mbali. The only time you can remarry is not only for your selfish reasons. You cannot do what we call the floor crossing. You can't leave somebody. You can't leave your husband for another man. That's not approved by God. But the only time if you're gonna leave your spouse, the person that you're married to, is if there's infidelity, there's an issue of adultery, and that's why you're leaving that person. Only then God will allow it. And then you can move on. I think I've answered you. So look for these signs if you are in a relationship with somebody, an intimate relationship with somebody. Number one, if your partner is abusive and disrespectful, both physically and emotionally, it's a sign you must let go. It's a sign you must let go of that relationship. Why? Because they are not only abusive, they are also disrespectful, both physically and emotionally. Now, you don't want to be in a relationship where now your partner is now bringing another one of their girlfriends or one of their boyfriends at home or at the place you used to share together. Now that's disrespectful, and every time you are in their presence, they will be abusive, they will hit you, and all those things. It's a sign you've got to let go. You've got to let go. And also, many stay in abusive relationships because they are financially dependent on that partner. That's a very wrong reason and a dangerous reason to stay with somebody. There are many people who are stuck in relationships because they are afraid, if I leave this person, how am I going to live? How am I going to pay my bond? How am I going to pay my car? And this particular person is abusive, but you're staying for the sake of money. I'm telling you, you will lose your life because of money. When it comes to abuse of any kind, it's crucial to safely find a way out. It's difficult to get out of those relationships. You have to really love yourself. Can I say that again? If you really love yourself, it will be easy to get out of the relationship. But if you love somebody more than yourself, you will remain in a relationship that no longer serves you. And it will be very dangerous. It will be very dangerous. So you've got to love yourself enough to be able to discern that this no longer serves me. It no longer serves my purpose. I'm going to leave this relationship. Number two, if your partner refuses to see the good in you, if they refuse to see the good in you and always criticize you in public, if they refuse to see the good in you and always criticize you in public and in private, then you must let go. It's a sign you need to let go of that relationship. It's a sign you must let go. Matibello says, can partners love each other how they want, or it is also right to love them how we want? I'm not sure if I understand your question, Matibello. However, love is love. Love is love, but I cannot dictate to you how you should love me, and you cannot dictate to me how I should love you. Love is love. It's either I love you or I don't love you. And if I love you and I don't feel that element of reciprocation, then it's not love. It's not the way it should be. I mean, you cannot claim to love me if I cannot feel it. You cannot claim it. So I think somehow I'm answering you, but I'm not sure exactly if I got your question right. So it's very important that you love yourself enough to be able to set yourself free from certain things, because I'm telling you, it's dangerous to remain in a relationship that does not serve you anymore. And number 3, the signs you need to look for if it's time to let go. There's more violence in that relationship than happiness. There is more violence in that relationship than happiness. You must know it's time to let go. There's more violence in that relationship than happiness. You must know it's time to let go. You feel negatively when you are around that person. You must know it's time to let them go. You no longer look forward to seeing your partner. That's a big one. That's a big one. You no longer look forward to seeing your partner. You no longer look forward. Then you must know the silver cup is broken. You must remember, if you love somebody, all you want to do is to be around them all the time. And the moment you get to that place where you no longer want to be around that person, then you must know it's time to let go. You cannot drag this thing. You cannot stay for wrong reasons. You cannot keep it for wrong reasons. It is clear you no longer want to be around that particular person. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. So, there are certain things we need to confront. Sometimes we move away from the things we should be dealing with, yet we must always confront issues. We must confront issues. Number 4, you feel fearful when you are around them. You feel fearful when you are around them. And then you must know there's danger there. There's danger there. You cannot love somebody and still be scared of them at the same time. You must know something has come into that relationship that is not supposed to be there. Now, it's either they've become that monster, they now intimidate you, and you're afraid now they will beat you up and all that. Now, you feel fearful around them. You must always think before you speak, because you're afraid to say something that will upset them or irritate them. And they've got this temper all of a sudden. They are temperamental. I think I've said it right. They've got this temper that you don't understand. Then you must know. You must know that now it's time to address this thing, and you are always worried you'll say something that upsets or irritates them. Then you must know it's a sign. You've got to let go of this thing. You've got to let go of this thing. Number 5, if you're the only one putting an effort into that relationship to work and your partner is not showing any interest, it's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. If you are the only one putting an effort into that relationship to work and your partner is not showing any interest, then you must know. It's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. Yeah. My brother Spusiso Masamula says, being merciful, loving, and tender-hearted towards others with whom we are in a relationship is a recipe for relationships that stand the test of time. Accepting each other in love will draw you closer. Yeah. And number 6, if for the longest time going home for you has been the hardest thing to do if you're staying together. If for the longest time going home for you has been the hardest thing to do, then you must know you are no longer happy with that person. If it's hard to go face that person every day and you've been doing it for many years, you must know it's time to let go. You don't enjoy spending time with your partner anymore. Being around them can be draining. That's dangerous. If being around them drains you, it's like you're dragging yourself to be in the same space as they are, then you must know It's time to let go of that relationship. It's time to let go. It's time to let go. Number 7, you no longer want to be with them, but you feel obligated to stay with them. Wow. Now that's dangerous. You no longer want to be with them, but you feel obligated to stay with them. You feel obligated to stay with them. Now that's dangerous. That's dangerous. Remaining with somebody because you're obligated to stay with them, you feel obligated to stay with them. You feel that, what, this person has been with you for many, many years, but you're no longer, happy with this person. You're no longer in love with this person. There's more fighting than peace in your relationship. Then it doesn't serve the purpose anymore. It doesn't serve the purpose anymore. Pumzile says, so Dad, what if they paid Lobola for you in full, but you have not yet signed as husband and wife? Then you are not married. Then you are not married, yet signed as husband and wife. Are they your wife, husband, or fiance? No, they are not your wife officially. They are not your wife. They are not your husband officially. It's like you're engaged. Paying lobola is like being engaged. Now, being engaged is not married. It's not being married. Now, paying lobola is to make the promise that I will do the right thing and marry you. You just go and show respect to the elders. You just go show respect to that family, to say, you know what, I have intentions of marrying your child, your daughter, your son. But lobola does not guarantee you that you are married now. No. Only if somebody does what they need to do and it's done officially, then you can call it marriage. But so you cannot say husband or wife. Yes, the right way is fiance. This is my fiance. Yeah. And once you do everything right the way it should be done, then you can call this person my husband, you can call them my wife. But if they only paid lobola and they have not yet, finished what they've started, you are just a fiance. You are not a husband. You are not a wife. And welcome back, women of God. No, thank you. Not a problem. Not a problem. It's good to have you back. But the nicest part with technology is that you can always catch up. So thank you so much for spending time with us. And Refilio Matsibulani says, a toxic relationship is a bad seed that enroots a toxic upbringing to your children, and children learn from what they see. Yeah, children learn from what they see. Absolutely. I like your comment, Refilio Matsibulani, because children don't do what you say, they do what you do. And actions speak louder than words. And now that you have made that comment, I was talking with a cousin of mine, and we were discussing a certain relationship of somebody I know. And this person is in an abusive relationship. And this guy has been beating this woman up. And as a result, their child spoke, blatantly and said, I hate my father. You can imagine what this does to kids. Now, if a relationship is not or does not reflect God, and the relationship does no longer serve God's purpose for the marriage between two people, then that thing is no longer good for everybody around. It's no longer good for the children. It's no longer good for your family. It's no longer good for everybody that is connected to you. So it's important that you address it while there's still time. It's important that you address it while there's still time. Understand this. Prolonging the relationship only allows time for more drama. Prolonging the relationship only allows time for more drama. That's what it does. So if you're going to prolong this relationship for the sake of family, for the sake of friends, for the sake of reputation, for the sake of not wanting to be an ex or being a divorcee, this will allow more time for more drama in that relationship, because everybody that comes to your house, everybody that comes to where you are, the two of you are, they experience drama, and people ask themselves, why are these people still together? And you know what? If there's one thing you cannot hide, is that you no longer love somebody, or you're no longer interested in somebody. You cannot hide that thing. Even a stranger can pick that up. They can pick that up. It's just that people won't tell you. But people, people are great witnesses. People can read our minds. So you cannot say that, you know what, I'm going to pretend I'm still in love with this person. Pretend to who? Because people will see that. People will notice it. People will pick it up. It's either you're in love or you're no longer in love. Who are you fooling? Who are you trying to fool? It's either you are in love or you're no longer in love. You cannot stay in a relationship for convenience. You cannot stay in a relationship for your reputation. You cannot stay in a relationship because you are worried about what people will say. You cannot do that at the expense of your life, at the expense of your happiness, at the expense of your health, at the expense. You know what? People that are living stressful lives, these people are affecting their health more than anything. You're affecting your own health. You are affecting your own health. You'll find that people who live stressful lives, their life is cut short. They die quicker than they were supposed to live. And it's because you are trying to prolong something that is not serving you well. You're trying to prolong this pain. You're trying to prolong this heartache. You're trying to prolong being with this person that you no longer want. It's not right. It's not good for you. It's not good for God. It's not good for everybody around you. It's not good for people that are very close to you. It's not good for your family. And I'm telling you, you know when people are in love, you can tell by looking at them. They don't have to say anything. You look at them when they're standing together. You look at them when they're together. You look at them even on the photo. You can see that these people are in love. These people are made for one another. These people are a great couple. These people are a match made in heaven. But people that pretend that they are in love, I'm telling you, you'll pick it up. You'll pick it up that no, there's no chemistry here. There is no chemistry here. Who are you trying to fool? So people will pick it up even though people will not confront you. But they know. So why are you prolonging this thing? You've got to address this issue. So yeah, I agree. Zolega says, Zolega says, Pastor Gay, part 2 next week, please. All right, I'll continue next week because I did not even finish my presentation for today. We still need to address the relationship with a friend. We still need to address destiny relationships. So I am with you, Zolega. You know what? I'm gonna pick it. I'm gonna continue from where I left off today. Yeah, yes. The woman of God, Mfundisi Nomalanga, says pretense is exhausting. Absolutely, it's training. It drains you. And it affects everything about you. Yes, it's like you're fake now. You're no longer original. You're fake. You're not authentic. You're fake in everything that you do. You're fake. If there's parents meeting at school for your children, you just show up so that people will think that you're a couple, but you are fake. You are not together. You just pretend that you're together. I'm telling you, it's not healthy, and the children know about it, and your people know about it. There's this other child who is in our church, and the other day we were praying for families. I think it was at the night of deliverance, and this young child, she's in high school, and she said, you know what, man of God, when you encouraged us to pray and you were praying for us, I strongly prayed for my mother and my father that, you know what, the fights and the violence at home would end. I mean, look at what these things are doing to our children. And in public, these people look like they're okay, but children pick these things up. They pick up that, you know what, it's not well at home. It's not all well. So there are issues that we need to address, or if things are not turning into the direction they ought to turn, then it's time. Then it's time to let go. It's time to let go. And if you're married, it's very important that you go for counseling. It's very important that you sit with people that are very professional in coaching couples. You sit with them. I'm telling you, they will grant you guidance, and they will be able to determine that this thing is repairable or irreparable. But if you are in just a relationship, you are not married, don't waste time. Don't waste time. Your happiness comes first. Love yourself enough to let go. Just let go. The only time you need to go extensively into making this thing work is if you are married, you go for counseling. But even that person, if they are professional, they will tell you that this thing is toxic for you to continue, or this thing needs attention, or this thing, there's nothing to work out here. Then it's time to let go. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here for today. And yeah, yes, women of God, you end up like cousins. It's like now you are your brothers and sisters. And yes, yes, yes. Tabang Mlangeni says, "Wow, thank you. Can't wait for next week." And Tabo says, I'm learning so much, Dad. And Mfundisi Nomalanga says, "Siyacela, please continue with this profound topic. This is what we need as a body of Christ." Absolutely, I fully agree. And we'll continue next week and discuss this subject. It is very important. And the woman of God says, "May the Lord continue to use you mightily for his glory, a true blessing to the body of Christ. The truth will set us free." And thank you so much. God bless and keep you and your beautiful family. Thank you so much, women of God. I really appreciate that. I'm humbled by your comment, and I really appreciate that. Thank you for the blessing. I humbly receive it. And God bless you, everybody. Before I let you go, don't forget to invest in my book, The Call of God. If you have not yet purchased my book, get a copy of my book, The Call of God. It will bless you. It is a great book to have, and I encourage you to buy one. It is only for a gift of $200. If you don't know how to get it, you can inbox me, and we can arrange how we can deliver the book to you, or you can order online. Go to our website, go to blackiconic.co.za, or go to the houseofprayerministries.co.za. From me to you, God bless you, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers and bye-bye.